Blog Talk Radio. Happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is L.M. Young, and this is My Rays of Light Radio. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. Tonight, we're going to be talking about bullying. The name of the show is actually called Beyond Bullying, and the reason why we've called it that is because we have come into a new spectrum of bullying. It isn't anymore what it used to be whenever our parents were kids, or even when we were kids, where we were being harassed over some lunch money or something like that. It becomes something more serious because now they're involving the Internet. The Internet is getting involved in the bullying. When we are children, everything is so simple to us. We often don't even give forethought to anything else that is happening in our lives or what could happen. So when we have our children posting pictures on Facebook or any of the social media areas like that, Google, Twitter, whenever we have our children posting pictures on these websites, they don't understand that once you post a picture on a website, on the Internet, it takes on a life of its own. It's virtually impossible to get it removed, and it can become the focal point of bullying. And that's what we're talking about tonight, because there is no reason why it has to be this way. We have to learn how to stand up. We have to learn how to reprimand our children. We have to learn to take care of not only our children, but everyone's children. It does take a village to raise a child, and this is a very important concept, and it's a concept that, unfortunately, so many people are missing. Specifically, I'm going to be discussing two cases that I'm personally aware of when it comes to bullying. The first case being that of Amanda Todd. Amanda Todd was a 15-year-old girl from Canada who was bullied. At the age of 13, she is talked into flashing her on webcam. Now, it took people about a year to talk her into doing this. So between 12 and 13, the most impressionable years of a child's life, she's talked into doing it. She's not unlike most girls that are posting pictures on Facebook now who want attention. I want to see how many likes I can get. I want to see how many people are going to want to be my friend. I'm going to see how many people want to inbox me. So she did it. That became a huge spiral for this young lady. Someone froze the picture. It became a still of her exposing her breast. Then they started harassing her, called her a whore, a slut. Keep in mind, she is a child. She is a child. So whenever we are calling a child, a 12 or a 13-year-old, a slut or a whore, are we even understanding the weight of our own words? Should she have done that? Of course not. Of course she shouldn't have done it. However, she was a child, and we've all made those mistakes. Maybe not the same mistakes, but we are all making mistakes. We are a work in progress. We are constantly making mistakes, making amends, growing. Amanda Todd killed herself on October the 10th, 2012. After several suicide attempts, she was told that they hoped that she would die. They hoped that her next attempt was successful. She was nothing. This is a lot of pressure for a 15-year-old girl. This is a lot of pressure. And we allowed this to happen, posted YouTube videos asking for help, asking us to reach out. I have posted a video on our event page called Beyond Bullying. I've posted the video. It's about 45 minutes long. I've also posted it in our group, the My Rays of Light Radio Network group, a 45-minute video where it talks about exactly what happened with Amanda Todd, but not just Amanda Todd, but other people too, because there was a whole ring of people that were doing this to young girls. Amanda Todd couldn't take it anymore. She had taken all that she possibly could, and there was nothing more that she possibly could have done. She reached out. They changed schools. She moved in with her father. She moved back in with her mother. It followed her around. This followed her. Then I learned yesterday in watching this video that she was threatened on Facebook. She was threatened on Facebook that if she did not do more videos, that those pictures would never go away. And then the person follows up by saying, and you know I'm crazy. And I thought to myself, what a horrendous thing for a child to have to deal with all by herself, because the police said there was nothing that they could do. There was no way that they could help this child. Someone created a fake Facebook page and made their profile picture the still of her flashing the camera. They sent that then to everyone that she knew on her friends list, including her mother. This is bullying. This is bullying, and we really, really need to put an end to this. I'm telling you all that we absolutely, positively must put an end to this, because this little girl did not have to die. She did not have to die. We should have stepped up. We should have done something. There are parents and friends of these people that harassed this young girl that didn't say a word. No one said anything. And we have to. We absolutely have to step up and start taking control and responsibility for what it is that we are doing to our children and allowing our children to do to other people. Now, whenever I heard about Amanda Todd, I was contacted by a fellow Canadian that asked me to write a poem about her, because I do like to write the poetry. And so this is what I wrote for Amanda Todd. It's called King of Kings. Another life is lost. The world will do without. All because of the things we slip out of our mouth. No easy or tender way to extract the truth of this. Only one way to tell it. Today, this is it. Amanda Todd, just 15, took a life that was so young, never to see her birthday, for damage had been done. No question there is fault, yet we still try to shift the blame. Call it bullying or harassment. Hate has many names. She tried to reach out, even posted a video as to such. But on October the 10th, the pain became too much. Yet and still her death wasn't enough to slow our poor taste. We are missing the message. Evil is a waste of time and energy, a waste of life causing death, a waste of people who are wasting someone else's last breath. She tried suicide before, in fact, drank a glass of bleach. She cried out for help, but was treated like a freak. A family now mourns, a beautiful soul lifted up, all because children were trying to be so tough. This lesson didn't have to be if humanity was instilled. Instead of populating caskets, would be hearts that we fill. Goodbye, beautiful child. I hope you finally find peace. I pray your fragile little heart will now be at ease, for the cruelty of humans is wasted on the divine. You will finally be accepted by the Creator of mankind. And while we await our verdict for sins we forced on you, I pray we make a change, or our souls will be taken too. Rest in peace, Amanda Todd, angel who found her wings. I wish you blessings of peace with the King of all kings. We are going to take a brief commercial break, and we will be back in just one moment. We're going to be listening right now to Shauna Lynn Grady. She's going to be singing Stay With Me. This young woman is fabulous. She really is. She's got so much heart and so much character. Check her out on YouTube. She also has a Facebook page. Again, her name is Shauna Lynn Grady. We're going to be listening to Stay With Me. We'll be back in just one moment with more My Rays of Light Radio.
Guess it's true, I'm not good at a one-night stand, but I still need love and you're just a man. These nights never seem to go, but I don't want you to leave. Will you hold my hand? Or won't you stay with me? Because you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. Why am I so emotional? No, it's not a good look, ain't some self-control. And deep down we know this never works. But will you lay with me so it doesn't hurt? Oh, won't you stay with me? Because you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. Oh, 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 won't you stay with me? Because you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. Oh, won't you stay with me? Because you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. Darling, stay with me.
Welcome back to My Rays of Light Radio. I'm your host, L.M. Young. Tonight we're talking about beyond bullying. What happens when the bullying goes too far? What happens when the harassment goes too far? On the line with me right now, I have Nadia. Nadia, are you there?
Hi, how are you? This is Nadia.
I'm good. How are you?
Good, pretty good.
So tonight we're talking about bullying. It's something that I think that either you're on one end or the other end of the spectrum, but I think it's something that all of us have faced at one point or another.
Yeah, usually there's something going on with the person who bullies and, of course, the person who receives it as well, is my personal opinion.
Right, I agree. There's something bigger. Whenever anything that catastrophic is happening, we have a tendency to just look at, okay, well, this person did it and point our finger and never look at anything deeper. Is there something else going on with that person? Is there abuse going on? Is there neglect going on? Is someone bullying them? Because we all know that we tend to slap someone because someone has slapped us. It's that retaliation, that thing that makes us feel almost warm and fuzzy inside whenever we are taking something out on someone. It's that terrible part of us that we tend to embrace more than the loving, kind, caring, and concerned part of us. The second person we were going to talk about tonight is Matthew Shepard. Now, Matthew Shepard was a homosexual 21-year-old who was harassed in his hometown of Laramie. Now, when I first learned about Matthew Shepard, of course, he had already passed away. But I was sitting at home one night and I was watching a TV show called The Laramie Project. And I had heard of it before. I wasn't sure really what it was, but I really didn't have a whole lot else that I was doing that evening. So I'm kind of watching it, kind of not. And then I just get completely pulled into this show because it's talking about not only the harassment and the murder of Matthew Shepard, but how the town of Laramie responded to what happened to him. I was completely surprised because my thought was, first of all, let me start off by saying Matthew Shepard was in a bar. His two assailants were also in the bar. They asked him if he wanted to ride home. He was a known homosexual. He says, sure. So they get him in this truck. They put him in the middle of them. They take him off to this edge of a mountain or a cliff, and they tie him to a post, like a wooden post. And then they began by hitting him with the butt of a gun in his head because he's gay. And they start saying, certain things to him. And all of this was known only because it was confessed. So I'm watching this show. That it was enough. I mean, really. He's put in the hospital. He was in the hospital for several days before he actually died on October the 12th, 1998. And so I'm watching how this town is responding. There were preachers that were saying, I hope that God has mercy on Matthew Shepard. And I thought to myself,
amazing.
What did he do? He was simply in a bar. He was simply being who he is. He was simply admitting to who he is. And we have a person of God, a person of faith, saying that they hope that not the assailants, but that Matthew Shepard will be forgiven for his sins. And I found that to be so bizarre and so hurtful that I could feel my heart breaking for this boy's family, thinking to myself, these people still live in this town. There are people that are saying that, he deserved to die. Whereas my immediate thought was, they're going to, go crazy on these guys because of what they did to this kid who was an honor student going to college. But that isn't what happened. And that astounded me. And even to this day, it astounds me to know that people are capable of doing that, not only because it happened, but because it is still happening. It is still happening. This kind of hate it still exists. It still exists. And we have to step up and say it's not good anymore. We have to step up and say we have to put a stop to it. We have to put an end to it because our children are killing themselves or being killed. And we are in a unique position to make a change.
Wow. That is truly amazing how someone could have that thought process and think it is okay to look at the victim and see wrong in the victim. And for some reason, it seems that happens way too much.
Right. It really does. It happens way too much. It is we must, without question, make a change. We have to make a change because we can't look at the world as if it's them and us because we are them. You know, there are people looking at us the exact same way. You know, I would hate to think of what it would do to anyone in my family if something like that happened to anyone that I know. You know, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. We are taking being a tough guy to an extreme level. Amanda Todd's pictures being posted all over Facebook, all over. I mean, they made pictures. They posted it on people's doors. This is true harassment. You know, this is true harassment. And then when it got to the point to where she could take no more, and she creates this video, which was posted after she had passed away by a good friend of hers. There were then people that made mocking videos. She deserved to die. She was weak. She was this. She was that. She is dead. She is dead. So I don't think we no longer get the opportunity to say what she is or isn't. She isn't breathing anymore. And she isn't breathing anymore because she couldn't take the harassment anymore. And we have to take some responsibility for that because it was because of everything else that happened that caused her to even think about doing something like that. The average person doesn't think about killing themselves in that way. And even if the average person would do that, she tried to commit suicide several times. You know, it's a travesty. And as a mom, and I know that Nydia, you're a mom also, I think that we have a duty to protect our children from this craziness. Don't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've seen so much bullying. Actually, my children has gone through a certain level of bullying, not to that extent, of course, but because that is part of our reality, which is very sad. I had to put that as part of raising them, as part of teaching them to be proud of who they are, regardless of what anyone else says or does. That's my part as a parent. We can do just as much as we can do, but at the same time, the pressure on the outside is incredible. So there's also, I think, responsibility on a parent of a bully to teach them that everyone should be loved and respected equally.
Right. I agree completely. A lot of the times, I've talked about it before, we're sitting around the dinner table and we may tell our children to be nice and play well with others, but whenever we are talking about the guy down the street, what he does, who he does it with, the girl down the street, what she is or what she isn't, whenever we are doing that, we are teaching our children how to bully. You know, even in our parenting skills, when we're telling our children to do something, and whenever our children are looking at us like, can you explain why it is that this needs to be done? And the only explanation we're giving is, because I said so. Because I said so. That's why you have to do it. And even that alone says, I have power over you. I have power over you. I don't owe you an explanation. And although I agree that there are times when that is necessary, there are times when, I think Che says, when the house is on fire. There are times that we have to do that. But we are teaching our children how to treat other children. And we need to at least take some responsibility for the fact that even if we are not saying it's okay to bully, we are definitely also not saying that by our actions that we are going to be held accountable, you know, because that is what's going on right now. You know, in my opinion, what is going on is that we are turning our back on our children by not saying anything. We work so hard at trying to be everybody's friend. You know, let's be friends with our kids. We want our kids to like us. We want them to want to spend time with us. That is so not important to me. It is not important to me that my child is my friend. I am there to guide them. I am there to show them what they're supposed to get done in life so they can be productive adults. I have plenty of adult friends. I don't need my child to be a friend of mine.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so these two cases always strike me hard simply because, number one, they were so very young, and number two, there were signs that this was going to happen. There were signs. Matthew Shepard was bullied. There were symptoms. And when we ignore the symptom, the disease becomes larger. You know, disease becomes larger whenever that happens. And it is our place, our responsibility to pay attention. We must pay attention to what's happening with our children because they're dying. They are dying, and it isn't a joke anymore. It isn't a matter of giving someone your lunch money so they'll leave you alone. It isn't a matter of taking a different way to school so that you don't have to worry about running into this bully, because the Internet has made it virtually impossible to escape them. They are everywhere. You know, and we must do something to try to protect and preserve our children. Even the children that are bullies, we also have to try to protect them because they need protection as well, even if it's just from themselves, in my opinion.
Yes, I definitely agree. I guess that's part of why I thought it was important to build their self-esteem. You know,
right.
There are so many forces and influences out there that tear it down. So,
right.
You know, there was a time, you know, for me, you know, and I agree as far as preparing the children for the outside world. So it's not only as a child, but, you know, as an adult, you know, and you're on your own, there are also bullies in the adult world as well. So,
right.
You know, if you don't get them prepared to deal with these situations now, what are they going to do later on? Which is really sad to have to be able to prepare a child to, you know, for a possible bully as an adult.
Right.
You know?
Right. It is actually very sad that we have to do that. You know, because we should just be able to teach our children to be loving and kind and concerned and considerate, and not have to introduce them to the evils that exist in the world. Because the evils that exist in the world are allowed to breed. You know, they're allowed to breed. We allow it. It's almost it really is acceptable. I've even seen things on Facebook that talk about having to make your child tougher, you know, instead of making the world softer and kinder, more compassionate. You know, and these are things that we have to be retaught. But of course, we come from a place of pure love. We come from a place where we are loved. We are bathed in love. You know, it's an amazing thought if you think about it. We are bathed in love. We're born from that place. So when we are born, when we're coming through our mother, and all of a sudden it's cold. It's cold because that warmth of that type of love isn't there right at that moment. So from the time that a child is born to the moment that they pass away, they're seeking that eternal love, that divine love, that love that says, I'm going to love you no matter what you do ever in life. I'm going to love you like this forever, and you don't ever have to worry about losing it. Because when we are being created, that's that kind of love that's the kind of love that we come from. And I'm not talking about the sexual love that where a child is conceived, but in the greater sense, in the universal sense, in the sense of our Creator. Our Creator is bathing us, saying to us, I'm going to love you no matter what you do. And we come here into this place and we forget that. We forget that because we let man tell us, I'm going to love you until you do this. I'm going to love you, but I'm going to love you. Yet, these are the things that we do, and we almost deprogram ourselves.
Yes, that's true. And I guess another way that the programming begins is where we create divisions. Now, all of us are unique within ourselves. Everybody is different from one another. And, you can group people together by their similarities, but once you see one thing that stands out different from the other, they find that, okay, this is what I'm going to pick on this person with. And everybody loves each other for their unique ways, appearances, personalities, whatever. Then I think this might be one way out of the bully situation. But that love, that unconditional love, like you say, needs to be part of that.
Right. I agree. It's there are changes that we can make. And I'm only hoping that we do make those changes because we are losing far too many people. And so young. We're losing them so young. And losing isn't even a good word to use. We didn't lose Amanda Todd. She was taken. Her soul was chipped away. It was chipped away. Her psyche was chipped away. Her self-esteem was non-existent. She didn't want to go out of the house. She didn't want to leave her room. All that she really wanted to do was sing. And I listened to some of the videos of her last night, and she had a beautiful voice, an absolutely beautiful voice. And I thought to myself, what a complete, utter waste. What a complete waste, because some people just could not leave this girl alone. We are going to take another commercial break. During this break, we're going to be listening to these girls. Their names are Chloe and Hallie, and they're going to be singing Pretty Hurts Are Great. We'll be back in another moment with more My Rays of Light Radio.
Doesn't matter, brush your hair and fix your teeth. What you wear is all that matters. Just another stage, pageant of pain away. This time I'm gonna take the crown without falling down, down, down. Pretty hurt, shine light on whatever's worth. Perfection is a disease of a nation. Pretty hurts, pretty hurts, pretty hurts. Shine like whatever's worth. Trying to fix something, but you can't fix what you can't see. If the soul needs a surgery, blonder hair, flat chest, TV says bigger is better. South Beach, sugar free. Vogue says thinner is better. Just another stage, pageant the pain away. This time I'm gonna take the crown, not falling down, down. Pretty hurt, shine the light on whatever's worth. Perfection is a disease of a nation. Pretty hurts, pretty hurts, pretty hurts. Whatever's worth. Trying to fix something, but you can't fix what you can't see. It's the soul that needs a surgery. no doctor or pill to take the pain away. The pain's inside and nobody frees you from your body. It's the soul that needs surgery. Soul that needs surgery. Plastic smiles and denial can only take you far. And when you break and the paper sun leaves you in the dark, you left a shining mirror and the shards of a beautiful girl.
Welcome back to the My Rays of Light radio show. I'm your host, Ellen Young. Tonight we're talking about beyond bullying, whenever pushing one another around goes way, way, way too far. We want to remind you that you can contact us at My Rays of Light Radio on Twitter at Light Rays and the number 1. We also have a website that we would love for you to check out for us, and that's www.myraysoflight.com. If you yourself are interested in becoming a radio show host on the My Rays of Light network, we would love to hear from you. Please contact us by email at myraysoflight@hotmail.com. It's a great way to spend a Tuesday evening. I cannot think of another way that I would want to spend a Tuesday other than to spend it with all of you and sharing the love and care and concern that I know that we all still have for each other, that I have for you. And it's very important that we continue to find ways, venues of reaching out to one another. These are fabulous, fabulous things that we are doing and are capable of doing. My Rays of Light is doing great things. We actually just now finished publishing a book called A Moment in My Mind, A Moment in My Mind by Kaisa King. It's a beautiful, beautiful book, and the content is absolutely fabulous. We will have that available on our Etsy site, and I will put that link up on our event page, and I'll also put it up in our group page so that everyone can get a copy of that. We are going to be selling the e-version for 99 cents and the paperback version for $5.99. Please do check out our group. It is called My Rays of Light Radio Network. It's just a place to gather, talk about our thoughts, what is going on in our lives, what is going on in the world, and what do we think about it. And so we have a really great time in there. We talk about everything. And so I just want to extend an invitation to you to come and spend this time with us. It is it's important. It's important for us to be able to care about each other in that way. The world was created from an incredible source of love. We are told that even in the Bible, God said, "Let there be light." We are reminded throughout the ages that light is love. Light warms our bodies and makes our souls feel refreshed and new again. We are again reminded about this great love when it is stated that He loved the world so that He gave His only begotten Son. Can you imagine a greater display of love? Our source tells us that He was willing to take His only Son, for He was safe from the hands of anything unholy, and give Him as a gift of love. You might want to ask why I mention this. After all, I have taken two very famous lines of Scripture. Surely we don't need to be reminded of them. You don't have to be a Christian to understand or to have known those two lines. But somehow the fact that we were bathed in love from the very start has eluded us. We have found reasons or created reasons to not love or be loving toward one another. Human beings are the only beings on this planet who create boundaries which tell us that someone or something is being loved too much. We will tell young parents not to coddle their children. We will say that too much hugging and holding makes a child spoiled. And while we must also encourage our children to love themselves, let us not use this as an excuse for breeding indifference. Just before a child is conceived, it has been cuddled, held, hugged, kissed, surrounded in the purest form of love. Why does a child cry when it is born? It cries because instantly this beautiful child knows how cold the world truly is. The baby isn't crying because it needs or wants to be spoiled, but because it's searching for the love it was created from. You will notice that throughout this child's life, it is constantly seeking that divine love. The kind of love that says, I will never love you less, and you will never feel alone or abandoned. But I have seen parents, men and women alike, pushing their children away for their own good. You are a big boy. You are a big girl. Don't cry. We will rush away from our children's bedrooms, claiming that we don't have time for one more story. What are we rushing toward? What is the urgent thing that simply cannot wait one more moment? Even the animal kingdom has more compassion than most human beings display. I have watched different species of animals take in babies that are their natural enemies to simply display compassion and love. A mother wolf, for instance, never snaps or growls at her young when they are crying. Instead, she will pull the pup to her and cuddle with it until the pup feels so safe and secure that the crying stops and the pup has gone to sleep. I have watched a bear cub climb up a pine tree, and when he gets to the point to where he is afraid to move upward or down, he will literally cry for his mother. The first time I heard this, I smiled because it really sounds like he's saying Mom. The mother bear, who is too large to climb up the tree after her cub, will wait at the bottom of the tree. She knows that either the branch will give away or the cub will become too weak to hold on. She will wait and watch. When she hears the sounds of either outcome, she will be there for the cub. Such patience is something that we could all learn from. What if we started looking at life differently? What if we realized that the most important job, task, or path that we had was to be that loving and patient mother or father? What if we hurried the world along as we push our children along? The conversation which our child feels is the most important thing in the world is just that. Are they just words? No. But what if I told you that the story that your child simply must tell you 1,000,000 times over was really something that you needed to know? The lessons in life that are intended for us usually come wrapped in such a way that they can be easily overlooked. Our children don't forget, have yet to experience the world and how cold and cruel it can be. Unfortunately, the harsh reality is usually not found any further than our own homes. How many times have you hurt your children's feelings and not given it a second thought? We will somehow minimize the experience, almost rationalizing the idea that our child will just have to understand. Our day was hectic. The boss yelled at us. We have a deadline that we are having trouble meeting, and we don't have time to use caution when talking to a child that talks all the time anyway. Do you see how easily we justify our actions? I understand this because I have a child that talks all the time anyways. She'll talk and she will talk and she will talk, and it will seem endless. But when you look at the light in her eyes, you see that this is very important to her. And because I love her, it therefore has to become important to me. Love is an endless source, yet we are quick to douse out that flame. We will ignore children that will speak to us out of nowhere. We will show a face of impatience while shutting out anything the child is asking or telling us. We've all done it. We're looking at our watches. We're looking at our cell phones. What time is it? What else do I have to do? As soon as I get done with this, I have to fix dinner. Everybody has to take a shower. Everybody has to be bathed and ready for bed. This show's getting ready to come on TV. There's this book that I want to read. We have a million things that we are thinking about when our child is trying to talk to us. Divine love has no criteria. It has no opposition. It simply is. We are damaging our children, but also be aware that we are damaging ourselves. Divine love can't be defined, as it defies all definition. It cannot be contained or withheld. It cannot be judged or ignored. Divine love is the constant flow of light from our highest source. It holds us up, even during times when we think we are standing alone. This beautiful thing is about this level of love, and it doesn't want any credit. Have you ever watched as a child ride a bicycle for the first time successfully? Do you remember the look in their face? The utter joy of them feeling that they did it all by themselves. What changed? The only reason a child is able to ride a bicycle all by themselves is because they decided to trust in a source that we grow to deny as adults. Is there ever a grumbling from above when this child is screaming, I did it, I did it? No. And the reason for that is simple. Divine love does not require the proverbial pat on the back. In fact, understand that a child was born with that kind of trust. It is us as adults that teach our children not to trust. Be careful, you're going to fall. We are loved highly, and every morning when we wake up, we are reminded of that love. Every moment that we have been gifted is precious. Children are not impositions. They are blessings. Too often we take that which was intended to enhance our lives and we cast them aside. That child does not talk too much. We listen too little. That child isn't crying for no reason. We just haven't learned to understand what he or she needs. That child isn't sad because they are unlovable. They are sad because we have failed to love them enough. Children do not act up because they are unruly. They act up because they are the things in our lives which we put last. It doesn't have to be this way. Start tomorrow. Better yet, start now. Talk to your children. Talk to your nieces, nephews, and their friends too. Listen to what they have to say. Accept the gifts that they were sent here to bring. Take a moment and look at life through their very loving eyes. And remember back when your eyes represented the light of the world. This brings us back to what we were talking about last week and the gratitude journals. Now, the gratitude journals are an idea that we came up with. Basically, the children and the parents write in the journals for a 30-day period. At some point in August, what we are going to do is a show, and we are going to let the children read 1 or 2 pages of the gratitude journals. What this does is it teaches us to be grateful for every moment. It teaches us to be thankful for everything that we have, everything that we will ever need, everything, every breath. You know, whenever someone passes away, we tend to only then be thankful for their existence. So what I'm suggesting, what I am prompting is that we do this every day. Every day, let's do this. Every day, let's be thankful for that breath of air. Every day, let's be thankful for that smile we're able to smile, for that word we're able to say, for that sound we're able to hear, for that sunset we're able to watch. Because I guarantee you that there is someone waking up tomorrow that won't be able to do one of those things. And they're going to be grateful. They're going to be grateful because they woke up. And these are the things that we want to be grateful for. We want to be grateful for life. Life is a blessing. It is beautiful. It is a beautiful blessing, and we want to embrace it always, and we want to teach our children. We want to teach our children to love one another, to love themselves. It is very important that we do this. It is very important that we do this. We are going to take another brief commercial break. Elise Estrada wrote and performed a song which was a tribute to Amanda Todd, and I can see nothing more poignant and more important than listening to this song today. So we'll be back in just one more moment with more My Rays of Light Radio. Welcome back to the My Rays of Light radio show. I'm your host, L.M. Young. I wanted to thank Nadia for calling in tonight and sharing with this such important topic. It's beyond bullying. Originally, what I had wanted to do was end the show with something lighter, talking about a funny story about somebody bullying someone. But when I give it a lot of thought, I've been giving it a lot of thought in the past, 45 minutes or so. I really can't see anything funny about it. And I think that by making light of even the kick me signs that we used to put on each other's backs, things that we would pop out of our lockers, the jokes that we used to tell and laugh about. Even in embracing that, we are embracing the kind of tragedies that led to what happened to Amanda Todd and Matthew Shepard. And I just didn't want to be a part of that. I didn't want to be a part of that. I only want to be a part of growing from that. We can't ignore the evils of the world. They just can't be ignored. They're there. They exist. But what we can do is that we can gently and kindly remind each other of our worth. You are just as valuable as I am. I am just as valuable as you are. You are deserving of divine love. And the truth is, you're always going to have it. You're always going to have that. No one can take that from you. So whenever we're searching for this love, someone to love me all the time, someone who is always going to be there for me, someone that is always going to be there no matter what I do, no matter what I say, we already have that. We already have that. So that's what the show is about tonight. It's about love. And quite honestly, by now, I'm sure you know, it's always about love. It's always about love being part of an entire creation. We are no more important than a grain of sand on a beach. But think about that. Think about that. Think about the pressure that hot sand goes through and turns to glass. Think about the pressure of a piece of coal that turns into a diamond. Think about all the pressure that we all go through on a daily basis. And we survive it. We live it. It's okay. We are doing okay. We just have to remind ourselves every once in a while that the only person or people that we have to be greater than is us. I don't have to be greater than you are, as long as I'm greater than I was yesterday. You don't have to compete against anyone. You are a brilliant, beautiful man or woman, no matter who you are. No matter who you are brave, brilliant, resilient, and you can be the most loving creature that ever was created. It's a choice. Tomorrow morning, I implore you, when you wake up, before your feet hit that ground, say to yourself, this is going to be a great day, and no one is going to stop that from happening. No one is going to get in the way of that, because I'm filled with love today. What should our affirmation be for today? My affirmation is simple. I am lovable, and I am aware. I'm lovable from a creator that says I am. I am created by a creator that says we all are. We are part of the great I am. We are all part of one another. Whenever we see things in other people that we may not like, understand what you see in that person is you. That's the thing that draws us to each other. That's even the thing that attracts us to one another. We see something in another person that is us, is part of us. And that's the thing that draws us to them, good, bad, or indifferent. How can anything be evil in a world where we are constantly reminded how loved we are? I hope you all are keeping up with your gratitude journals. This is such a beautiful project. It really is. And even if you choose not to share it with us, notice the change in you as you write it every day. And notice every day how you're able to write a little bit more. So at the end of that 30-day cycle, you will realize how much you really do have to be thankful for. My Rays of Light Publishing is also going to be publishing those gratitude journals if you're interested. So please do contact us at our email address at myraysoflight@hotmail.com. I want you to have the most beautiful and wonderful week possible, filled with light and love. My name is L.M. Young, and these are My Rays of Light.